and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
no ladies. No ladies should listen to this podcast.
What?
No.
I'm a lady. I'm a fucking dainty ass lady.
Hold on. No,
wait,
you're
let
a woman,
me
but
let me intro.
Wait,
Hold it.
You ain't no lady.
My good sir. Hold it up. Okay. Welcome, guys, to the second episode of Staff Turnover by... Oh, I completely fucked that up.
Hold on one second.
Okay, let me do this again.
No, let me give it a try. You had your chance. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode.
Oh my god, your voice is so sultry.
The Staff Turnover podcast. I'm your co-host, Mohamed, and I have with me Christina. Say hi, Christina.
Yo, what's up?
All right, we scared away anybody who listened to this for the first time, and now we can get right down to business.
It's fine. I feel like the people who are still listening are really the true fans that we want.
The real fans that have been here since episode 1, you know?
Yeah, since 2 weeks ago. No, it's been over a month, I think.
Not over a month. It's been probably exactly a month.
It's been over a month, dude.
Okay,
let's
fine,
be honest.
fine.
Okay, I think our commitment level is very low,
Ooh.
but you know what? It's about showing up, dude.
Oh,
it's about showing up. No, dude.
Right,
That wasn't. By the way, that wasn't a jab at you. That was a jab.
No,
at
but
both
I felt
of
it
us.
anyway.
Good. Well, you're Canadian, so you're gonna apologize.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. But no, I'm glad we're back, and I'm really excited to talk some nonsense with Christina. And
I'm looking forward to this.
Today? How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I literally this morning woke up, did a little bit of work, and made some mac and cheese, kind of leftover party food. So I had a beer, made some fresh mac and cheese, leftover barbecue ribs that I made, Mohamed.
Oh.
This is another reason why you should be visiting, is because of my ribs. I made barbecue ribs, and I made dry rub ribs. Do you guys have ribs in Canada?
No,
I don't know.
Your audience. Pork ribs?
Pork, of course. All day, every day, man.
Known
as beef.
Ribs have been brought over to Canada. So yes, we do have that. Yes,
I'm glad.
I guess we're getting right into the what you eating segment.
Yeah, let's get into it. So
Yeah.
what you eating?
No.
I am eating
the ribs.
What?
And mac and cheese.
Oh, ribs. Yeah, that's what I was getting into. Yeah. I was realizing. Oh yeah, that's what we're doing exactly right now. So mac and cheese, fresh. I'm saying, when you turn off the stove, it starts, that fat and the creaminess of it starts coagulating. That's when you need to eat it, like right there.
Right there.
So I started eating it. I ate so much that I actually got a stomach ache, and then I went to sleep. This is how I eat.
Yeah.
I eat until I feel really bad about myself, and when I get a stomach ache. So I went to bed. This is no joke. This is like 12 p.m. This is like 6 hours ago.
Yeah.
12 p.m. and I slept for 2 hours, and I feel so refreshed and ready for the rest of the day, or what's left of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nothing says come over for my fine cooking like I got a stomach ache after eating it. Like it makes it sound so appetizing. Come on over, Mohamed, and try out my pork ribs that hurt my stomach.
I ate so much, not so much that I didn't practice any safety violations. I'm just saying that I ate so much of it, I just went to sleep.
Oh, I know. I'm not. I know your cooking's amazing.
Rude.
Well, I'll be honest. That's what this podcast is about: straight rudeness, and then I just apologize after every single time. But
Good.
What am I eating? Actually, you saw me right before. I was
eating
some homemade.
What were you eating?
Some homemade peanut butter cookies. So good.
Ooh.
And but
did you make
more
them?
important than what I was eating is what I'm going to be watching later tonight, which you kind of teased me a little bit about, but the Great British Bake Off, one of the best shows ever created. Have you even seen any of this? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say the Bake Off?
Okay, first of all, Christina. Oh crap! I just said my last name. Okay, I'll cut that off.
Bleep it. Keep it in, but bleep it.
I'll bleep it. I do not I hate sweets. You know this about me.
That's true.
I hate sweets, so especially
And
an entire
sweets.
show about
People from
sweets, it's literally like a yawn fest. I'm just clicking. I click through.
But it's not. It's
Okay.
okay. I'll be honest. Not all the food looks great all the time. Sometimes it's like some sort of like obscure, really old like British dish, and I'm like,
Ew.
I probably wouldn't eat that, right? But the show is just the most heartwarming, nice, kind, interesting. Like, it gives you all the feels.
Everyone's supporting each other.
No,
It's
100%.
like one of those shows, huh?
100%. Okay, so when people watch reality TV shows, if I told them there's a show out there, it's a competition show, where there's no prize money, so people are not fighting for prize money. It's done on like the weekends, so they don't have to disturb their life or anything. They're all amateur bakers, you know. Nobody badmouths
Oh my
anybody
god, I'm
else.
already bored.
Everyone
I'm
is so
already bored.
supportive. You American.
No, I want blood.
Everyone
and
is so
sweat.
supportive.
I want children crying.
No,
Children
even there's no
crying.
Simon Cowell. The hosts are so kind. They'll say the worst thing they'll say is, "This is underbaked. It's almost, you know." And then hearing it's underbaked or it's not done well, or you know, the flavors aren't strong enough. The contestants are like, "Oh my god, like, what have I done?" Like, it's the most devastating, dramatic thing ever.
Okay, you know the show that I do want. Okay, that sounds like an okay show. It sounds fun.
What
Fun
show do
as
you
in,
like? What monster truck?
You know what's funny?
Explosion filled.
It's the American version of it. It's MasterChef.
Oh
I
yes.
just literally, you were just talking about this show. I mean, early, and it's so funny that I'm following MasterChef, and the finale just came out a couple days ago. So I saw that. It was gut wrenching. It's competitive. There's 3 contestants at the very end. One guy named Caesar, he actually cut like a little bit of his finger. So the last 5 minutes of the last dish to be made, to be judged on, to basically who like dictates who is the next master chef. He cuts a little bit of his finger and it starts bleeding on his like his not smock but his little bib thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the families were there. I think there was one episode where they leave home, they leave their jobs. Like it's a very
It's a
obtrusive.
sacrifice. It's a sacrifice.
Yeah, it's
and
a
there's
huge
probably a lot of
sacrifice.
prize
Like,
money. Do they talk
it's all
trash
about the
each other?
production.
they
Yeah, it's
talk trash
all about the
each-
production. It's all about the production, how they record. We got to record in the next 5 weeks or whatever. And, you have to leave your homes. And there was one episode where they reveal the ingredients for the next challenge, and it's literally a letter from each family member for each contestant, and everyone started crying. This is fucking TV, man. This is America. We're all about sacrifices, okay? Unnecessary sacrifices.
Oh my goodness! I think we're delivering on the promise of the premise here, Canadian and American, and our different personalities and values and things like that. Because the most controversial thing to ever happen on Bake Off is like 4 seasons ago or something like that. One contestant took another contestant's cake out of the fridge before it had a chance to properly chill, and it kind of melted and fell apart.
No.
It was the biggest. I'm telling you, there was. By the way, this show is not like an obscure show. This is one of the biggest shows in England. It's huge.
Sure.
It's
Which
national
probably
huge.
means absolutely nothing for America.
For
Okay,
Americans,
cool.
it means nothing because if it's not in America, it doesn't exist. But
It's Bake Off. Okay.
But
Bake Off.
like articles
I
were-
imagine a bunch
articles
of
were-
single moms with their minivans pulling up.
But articles
lemon
were written
cookies or
about this.
something.
People were talking about this. Like years later, people are like, "Oh, remember that incident that happened a while ago?" That's the only and most dramatic thing to happen in this show.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
But okay. So since we're talking
What's funny
about
is like
shows-
I don't feel like what's funny is I don't feel like we're purposely trying to be anything but ourselves, right?
We're not
And
acting
it's
out.
funny-
We're not acting out.
It's funny that you're watching this stupid Bake Off show, and I watch
And,
MasterChef eat
and
like a
it's
quality
sad that
show.
you're watching this typical very, very typical reality trash TV kind of show where
it's not trash. It's first of all, it's not trash. It's Gordon Ramsay. It's Aaron, I forget his last name, and then the other judge is like Joe. You know, all these like fancy schmancy, well experienced, big names and
yeah. But do you guys have Mary Berry and Paul Hollywood?
I do not know who either of those people are.
Those are the judges of Bake Off.
Oh,
Mary
okay.
Berry. Well, okay.
Mary Berry.
Mary Berry.
Mary Berry.
But Mary Berry left the show.
I don't know who these people are. Okay.
Oh, Mary Berry is
so
like,
dramatic.
No. Like this was like national news. Do you know Top Gear?
Yes.
The car show.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that they moved that show to a different station, or like they got canceled, or some big hubbub happened? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I remember just they're all older white guys, and I think they had something. I feel like the show kind of relished on the tension between all three of them, but I think it got to a point where they literally couldn't like work together anymore or something like that.
Yes, but that was like national news there, and they had the same thing happen in Bake Off, where they were trying to move the show to a different station, and like 3 of the people on the show walked off and didn't want to go. And
whoa!
And the whole all the fans were like, "Is the show going to be the same? How could you replace Mary Berry?" You know?
Oh my god! Get over it.
But yeah.
I mean, it would be different if I actually saw what they actually made. If it's just a bunch of cookies here and there, okay, cool, whatever. Is it cakes? Is it?
They do everything. They do savory stuff. They do buns. They do cakes. They do a lot of cakes, a lot of bread. They do what's something they did non-bread last week, which I was telling you about off the air.
Okay,
but it's so charming. It's the kind of show where you're rooting for everybody, and you don't actually want anybody.
Oh. Then does anyone win? Does anyone win?
Yes,
does anyone get eliminated? Does anyone cry? Like, these are the questions I need
every
to
episode they
answer.
cry. Every episode I cry. It's
like it's a good
amazing.
wholesome show.
It's the most wholesome show. The most wholesome show.
Ugh, that's so boring. I want tension. I want sacrifice.
I will admit.
I want a little bit of drama. Just a little bit, not too much. Not too much.
This is actually relevant to you because we both have we both like woodworking, and there's these 2 woodworking reality TV shows that came on at the same time several years ago. Did you watch any of them?
Several years ago?
Like 3
did you
years
watch
ago.
actually what's his I forget the guy's name. Something with Swanson or whatever.
Ron
with
Swanson?
Amy Poehler.
Oh no,
Yeah.
not that one. What's that one?
Well, that's a new one. Literally just a new one that came on Netflix, and it's called oh my god, I don't even know the name of it. But basically, it's like people they're like DIYers, crafters.
Yeah.
And it's basically a competition. Who's the best person?
Oh.
Woodworker,
Okay,
basically.
I need to get on that because several years ago there was only 2 shows. There was Ellen's Design Challenge, and there was which was kind of a typical reality show, a lot more wholesome. They all pretended like they loved Ellen, which it was so funny because you could tell some of them like they didn't seem like a typical Ellen fan, but she showed up to the show like once a season, and when she shows up, they're all like, "Oh my god, Ellen's the best!" And this, I'm like, no way.
Wait,
that
Ellen who? Ellen DeGeneres?
Yeah. It's her show. It's called Ellen's Design Challenge. It's a furniture making show, and it went on for 2 seasons. I watched both seasons; they were great. But the opposite of that,
I have no clue what show this is. That's funny. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think it was on Life Network or something like that. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
But Christina, there's a show called
that's
Framework.
my name.
Framework is on Spike TV.
What are these shows? Oh, you're fancy. You have cable.
No.
Yeah, you're that cool rich kid on that corner of that house that everyone goes to because you have cable. You're that cool
we do not
kid,
have cable.
That's got MTV. Oh, I'm sorry. That was my childhood. When we were growing up.
I remember.
Rich kid. You remember that?
I remember the one kid who had all the channels and yeah. But anyway, no. You. By the way, Framework. One of the hosts was Common, the rapper.
Yeah, dude, Common's sick. I really like
Common's
him.
in everything.
I'm glad
he's in movies. He's in TV shows. He's in
good for
freaking
him.
furniture reality
He's expanding.
shows.
Good for
But
him.
Christina, I think you find the show interesting because this was me during peak woodworking, right? When I was like devouring any woodworking stuff I could. And then the show came on Spike TV, and Spike TV was like the super macho, like in your face like kind of show.
Yeah.
So this show made woodworking sound like the hardest, most epic, most like confrontational thing. It seemed like there were gladiators coming in the ring to fight. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. When instead they just go to their little corners and they just make little things, and everyone's super quiet playing their music.
They just go to their corner and they sand for like 45 minutes because it takes forever to sand things.
That is so intense.
but okay, so not only would they manufacture drama, but it was like clockwork. Every episode had a moment where one of the characters talked about their daddy issues. It was amazing. And they put the sad music, and then they're like,
come on.
I want to be a woodworker because growing up I didn't have all the things that I wanted, and I want to provide for my daughter, and every single episode. And then they would have the loft is the area where they literally just sit and trash talk each other.
I remember that.
It was the trashiest show ever, and I felt ashamed for watching it, but I watched every episode.
It's okay, man. Every once in a while we have to watch trashy shows to kind of make us be aware that how much better we are as human beings.
Oh, better than the trashy people?
Aren't. Yeah, way better. Like 10%. Oh, dude, speaking of trashy people.
Oh.
No, I'm joking. No. I it's funny that we're talking about woodworking now.
Yes.
I think this is the best segue into JHA. Hey, we didn't plan that.
Assessment.
So Mohamed, do you have anything for our JHA segment?
Oh, actually, I want to hear your story because that sounded interesting.
Are you ready for this? I don't know if you're ready for this.
I'm preparing myself.
Let's see. JHA. Yes. JHA. Job Hazardous Assessment. This is a great segment.
Where we talk about work-related stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people who aren't familiar with the construction world, it's just basically not so much a document, but it's a every day you do an assessment of all the hazards of your specific project and
all the hazards.
All the hazards and yada yada yada, and it's really, if anything, it's a great tool for your workers to kind of be constantly aware of safety and look at us sound so corporate, but let's just jump into it. Okay,
Christina,
safety first. Yes, safety first. So not to name any specific companies or yada yada whatever. So I was working for a cabinet manufacturing company for only a week and 2 days. So that is 7 days. So 5 days, whole week, and then 6, 7. Actually, no, on the 8th day, they laid me off. And the very first day, so imagine this, you go into this huge warehouse. So originally I went in for the most menial job. It's a cabinet assembler position. So cut out a bunch of cabinet parts off of a CNC machine, basically a huge printer that cuts out, all these, huge. I'm saying like, I wouldn't even say 4x8 sheets. They're probably 8x12 sheets, humongous sheets.
Nice.
You get them with a hydraulic arm, you put it onto the CNC, kind of like this platform, and then the machine cuts it out, right? And you just have to grab the pieces, and I mean, like, very laborious, very, manly or whatever, but it was fine. These sheets, obviously, we're talking about typical kitchen, bathroom cabinet, so the pieces aren't that big, right? So cuts it out, and then you grabbed it, whatever, and then awesome, humongous machine that bands the edges. So basically, I'm just explaining the whole process. But anyways, I go into this warehouse, and he's like, "Look, Christina, you're incredibly overqualified," which I loved hearing. I was like, damn right. And he's like, how about you try being our operations manager? We're dying of some structure. We need organization.
We need you, Christina. Come here and work your magic.
Yeah, we need you. Like, come on. Like, look at your resume. It's ridiculous. Like, why are you here? And I was like, you know what? Like,
you're going to be here for a long time, Christina. That's why we're hiring you. You know.
There's a future here for you. You know, when you show how much change you could bring to the company. We can think of salary. You know, that's later down the line.
Later down the
great,
line.
Great, it sounds good. Yeah, later down the line. You know, and I was like, great, sign me up. But as I was walking through the warehouse, I was just talking to me about kind of like, you know, kind of a laundry list of all the issues. It's, you know, the staff or the workers that they have, they're kind of, there's a little bit of drama, you know, a little bit of I wouldn't say it's not a toxic environment, but it's kind of like you could see the seeds, you know, when there's a little bit of drama, it just spreads very quickly. And
they're not jiving.
Yeah, dude, they had a very small crew anyway. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. And so I'm looking through the warehouse. There is old equipment everywhere. There's no clear work areas. There is no tool shed. There's no tools are everywhere. Scraps of wood are everywhere. No. Scraps of like 8x12 sheets sitting on top of, you know, just upright on top of other cabinets. And no kidding, I'm like, so the guy, I won't, I love how I mentioned mine, but I was like, hey, we should definitely clean this warehouse up because it is very unsafe here. Yeah. This sheet, and I literally just pointed to one sheet, I was like, this can fall and hit someone in the eye and they're done. And he's like, well, you know, the other woodworking shops are very similar to this. I'm like, that's fine. That's fine. But the warehouse that I'm going to be running, we're going to be very safe. We're going to be clean. Mm-hmm. When you're safe, you're efficient. And when you're efficient, you make money.
There we go.
And I was like, do you have any issues with that? He's like, no, definitely go for it. I'm like, okay, great.
You should have went up to him and be like, I'm from oil and gas.
I know how to move dirt, bitch.
I worked in Canada. You know how freaking safe those guys are?
and lo and behold, guess what happens the Friday. So I started Monday. Guess what happens that Friday?
Everything went smooth and no one got hurt.
Sorry, it was Saturday. The boss. Mm-hmm. The boss comes in Monday morning, but tells us on Saturday morning he was helping. They're so understaffed, by the way. So he's helping actually assemble, and he hurt himself on the panel saw. So I don't know if you've worked on have you used a big panel saw before?
Is it a panel saw?
Yeah, so it's different from like a table saw. A table saw is a cross cutter. So based on the direction of the grain. Yeah. A table saw is great when you're if the grain is going horizontal, and you're putting onto a table saw, you're fine to go perpendicular with the cuts. Yes. Right? Yeah. But with the ribbon saw, you have to cut. Yeah, exactly, cross cuts. With a panel saw, you can only go with the direction of the grain. So you have to go parallel, right? So what he ended up doing was he did a cross cut on a panel saw, and then he said at the very last piece that he was working on, he kind of got really lazy and butting up the piece up against the fence. Oh no! So he got lazy, and bro, I'm telling you, it fucking shot back and it hit him in his stomach. It hit him in his the pelvic bone. Yeah. He said it hit that first, and then kind of like angled towards like his intestines basically, and he said that it bloated immediately. He just no rupturing, but it was. I mean, he went to the hospital immediately. So he went to the hospital. He spent a night in the hospital. He comes in Monday morning and just kind of like, and he could barely walk. He's like, oh my God, it took me a half an hour to get into pants, right? Oh my God. And I'm like, why are you here? Yeah. And he's like, because one, they're so understaffed. Because two, they have such a toxic working environment that that new people that come in, that they've said that they've tried hiring people, and dude, people know how to read vibes. It's very simple. You come into the working, like when you come in, you can tell that there's tension immediately. So, as a new person, like, why would you want to even be in that sort of situation? Or, hey, I want longevity here, but you can clearly see there's drama, right? Yes. So he said that we're clearly understaffed, so he had to come over on Saturday. And then he's like, no, I have to come in because I have to help. And I'm like, that's fine, but you can work from home. You should not be standing right now. He had stitches, but he could barely walk. That was the thing. It was like no flesh wound or anything, but it was bruising, internal bruising.
This is the next day?
This is the next day, man.
Wow.
And then, you know, when I told him, and I like, he was kind of joking about it, and I was like, in front of the guys, I didn't want to tell him anything negative. Yeah. I'm just like, well, I'm glad you're fine, you know, please go home if you need to, like, I'll take care of it, because there's a bunch of, like, there was no workflow. There was, like, when a sale comes in, so client comes in, buys cabinets, and then, you know, when the kind of the contract gets executed, you put the designs together, you print out the cut sheets, and then you give it to the workers, and then they cut everything. But there was, like, what's funny is I'm explaining this to you, but I'm telling you right now, that process is so construed. Like, we don't know who does what. No one has a clear job role. You have the sales guy helping the workers order stuff, and I'm like, yeah, there's certain probably like custom parts and shit like that, but like, you're the sales guy, like, go get us more money, you know, like, you shouldn't be helping the workers like paint. No, you know, not at all. And the fact that the owner didn't even recognize that is just embarrassing. I mean, like, no joke. And then off to the side, I was like, you should go home right now. I'm sorry, but I said it my first day I was here. We need to get this place cleaned up because someone was going to get hurt. Yeah. Very, very, it's very dangerous that everyone's working. And the dust collection is awful. Man, dude, I would go home and dust collection is awful. It's dust everywhere. And I would come home every day just sneezing. Not sneezing, but, like, you know when you're clearing out your nose? You know, dirt. You could feel it, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Dust is actually really dangerous. Like, people don't realize it.
It's so bad. Yeah, it's so bad for you.
Especially when you're making cabinets, not all of the wood is just straight up wood. There's a lot of, like, other they're really fine. There's very fine woods. Yeah, there's very other fine materials that there's other materials, and you're breathing that in. And they've even shown that stuff can cause, like, cancer. Like,
no, dude, 100%. No, I'm not disagreeing. 100%. And he was just like so willy-nilly about it because this is a guy that's never known how to manage people, and not only that, he was of a different industry, not even construction. So I told him, look, I've worked for the biggest construction companies. This isn't me trying to put you in your place. This isn't me being this badass chick and being like,
trying to show off
or if anything, do not take this as some, you know, natural, like, guys are just naturally intimidated by that. But I was like, no, I'm here to work for you, and I'm telling you right now, that could have been a lot worse. Yep. And to, like, I need to get this place straightened out right now, ASAP. And he's like, well, you know, your background, it's pretty similar, but, you know, this is manufacturing, this is different. I'm like, no, it's not. What I see out there is I see an operation, I see a construction crew. That's basically it. Yep. That's it. Easy. And in my past, I've managed 40 guys. I know to manage foremans. The foremans manage the guys. It's very simple. And I told him, like, you got to be safe. That's 100%. That's the most. We have to have better housekeeping. They had zero housekeeping. It was awful. And not only that, like, the 8th day, I got sat down by his co-partner, and his partner was like, Christina, like, oh, and by the way, so on the 7th day, oh my god, I love this, by the way. Sorry, are you bored? You're not bored, are you? This is great, huh?
No.
You know what's funny, dude?
I'm just leaning.
Oh, okay, good. I can't even see right now. I'm looking at our notes right now, but what was I gonna say? No, the 7th day, it got so bad that the partner, he's like acting as a consultant, but, you know, he's a partner, part of the business, whatever.
He's got a lot to say.
Yeah, he asked, hey, let's have a team meeting, right? So we have a team meeting, and it was very clear that the tension between the workers were even worse, right, than I had imagined, right? Because, like, they're nice to me because I'm the new person, and now that I'm a chick. So they're like, hi, Christina. I was like, hey, how's it going? Do you need anything? Like, what materials do we need? Because there was no formal material purchasing kind of, like, process either. I'm telling you right now, whatever they wanted, we bought it. And it was like we didn't know what inventory that we had. There was no inventory tracking. We don't even know how much we had of one. Dude, it was garbage. That place was garbage. I don't know how it's still functioning since like when I got there. And then after the meeting, it was a 5-hour meeting. Literally a 5-hour meeting. It was a workflow process. It was like who does what happens when this happens. It was like an if-then kind of like a workflow organization, right? It was like a interdepartment kind of workflow process, which is like a very easy thing in QA because like that's structure, right? We've learned structure as we get bigger and bigger with the companies, right? And after that meeting, it was like co-partner, he's like, it was just me and him. And he's like, oh, I've told, your boss that I'm talking to you right now. I'm like, okay, yeah, no worries. Like, they're very honest with one another too, right?
Okay.
But he's like, Christina, like, what do you see? Do you see potential? I was like, I can get this place cleaned up in 3 months. That's for sure. 100%. And he was like, okay, tell me about each person. I go, okay, this, that. Like, everyone's kind of like, they don't know. Since there's no organization or no clear role, no one knows if they're doing their actual job, right? You don't have a metric to gauge with, right? So it's like everyone's kind of set loose to kind of do whatever they want.
They do whatever they want, and you don't know if they're doing good job, bad job, efficient, inefficient. Are they stepping on other people's toes? No, you don't know.
Exactly. And I go, and then the biggest one was, I looked at him and I go, to be honest, I can get this place cleaned up 3 months, easy. Mm-hmm. I can. The problem, the only issue that I have is there was one specific worker that didn't like me. He was the factory kind of like the foreman. Older, like did not like me, and it was very obvious. And then I was like, the thing is, in order for a process like this, I pointed out the table or the wall. When he did that, I was like, look, this process is easy. I can do this. But the thing is, you need to get people bought into the system, right? That's the only problem, right? And then not only that, I go, the biggest issue is going to be my boss. Because he has butted heads with me when it comes to... No, it was like, he's like, I asked him certain questions. And I was like, well, it's not working. So why are you telling me this is the process, right?
Yeah, why are you sticking to your guns when your guns are like not working?
Yeah, when the interview told me that, hey, like, you asked for, you got all the experience. Like, we need you. We need someone like you to, create system, create organization. But how come you're still teaching me the old system? Like, if the old system worked, I wouldn't need to be here.
Yep.
And the co-partner was like, yeah. Like, it's funny that he's very stubborn like that. I'm like, well, his stubbornness is basically driving his entire company into the fucking ground. Damn. And I was very honest with him, and he's like, yeah, Christina, to be honest, I think you're way too talented for this place, and I'm going to. And so his background, dude, he starts businesses and he sells them, so he's all over the spectrum. He knows how to read, basically he knows how to read. Like all the data analysis
of a business.
Yeah, exactly. He knows what to do in specific situations. He knows as he reads the sales and the revenue, the type of the revenue, like the city you're in, like he knows how to kind of gauge what the next steps are. And he said that he's actually cut out my boss from their other business because he didn't know how to run the books. He doesn't, dude. The moment you do not track your costs is the day you start losing money, right? Like there's nothing to gauge by, right? If you don't even know if you're making money, if you're not even documenting your costs, you don't even know if you're making money or you're losing money. Yeah, you can't even do anything, right? Yeah. And it's such a basic thing, dude. It was so basic, and I told him everything, and then. The partner's like, yeah, Christina, I'm telling you right now, I'm so glad you're here and that I could talk to you because the other guys, like, you are by far the smartest person here. And I go, I appreciate that, but it's tough because I'm only a week in. And I told him, I'm only a week in, just give me 3 months. And he's like, honestly, this is like your optimism is very much what I had when he was talking about a restaurant he had in another California city. And he said that he was super successful, and then he sold it to a couple, and then the couple just drove the restaurant down into the... Yeah, and he was like, and he tried to build it up, and he was in it for like 6 months too long. So, but he was like, Christina, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to ask you. Like, I'm gonna be shutting down the business, and I'm gonna suggest
so it actually did get shut down. They didn't just lay you off. They shut down the whole business.
Oh, yeah. So the thing is, like, their lease is still for a couple months, but they're like, yeah, we need to start cutting back now. So you're actually, because the thing is, I mean, think of it this way. Like, if anything, I'm just like management, and I'm not even adding money to the book. So he's like, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. This is like the first time I've ever had to tell someone to encourage.
And
them
you can't
to,
do
like,
your
leave.
job if the company isn't there anymore. Your job is to fix things up. But they've already.
Yeah, it's like beyond. Like, had I been there a year ago, I would have definitely
made a difference.
I would have. Oh, dude, you know me. I would have cleaned that place up. But yeah, dude, JHA, man. When you, the funny thing is, I told him, I was like, hey, what cut did you do? Did you do a cross cut? And he was like, I don't even know what that means. I go, oh boy, like, and it's so funny is, I'm the chick with the construction experience. I went to school for civil engineering. Like, he's not construction background. I'm going to school for furniture making and cabinetry making. And we have the same machines. We have the same machines in my shop, in my class. I use the same ripping saw table. Like, no joke, same one. And he's like, well, Christina, I've been trained. I'm like, no, you haven't. Come on, you were trained by one of the workers. Come on, like, I'm not gonna get in an argument with this, okay? So if you don't think that safety is a priority, then that's unfortunate, It's like one of those things. Like, it was so bad, man. So listen to Christina when she tells you not to use certain machines, okay?
That's the takeaway.
That's the story. That's the takeaway.
That's the takeaway, because I wanted to ask at the end of every JHA, I'd be like, what's the takeaway? What can we learn from this? So basically, if Christina tells you, don't use that saw that way, don't use that saw that way.
Or if not, you get scrap, pieces of wood, being shot at you 200 miles per hour and hitting your intestines.
Oh.
Isn't that?
We've all been there, right?
Oh boy.
That's so horrible.
Anyways,
that's
dude,
so
that was
horrible.
a long story, but if anything, I'm living and breathing that. That was literally last Wednesday.
Wow. Well, for my little JHA story, I'm gonna take us back a little bit, back before I met you, actually.
Ooh,
so
this is like baby Mohamed. You had a baby, like baby beard. Did you have a baby beard?
I had a baby
little
beard.
Splooch right here.
And as soon as I met you, I aged like 20 years. And all of a sudden, I was the old guy. You were the new kid on the block. And things have never been the same after that.
Exciting.
But anyway, so
right,
this
I'm excited.
was at the company that we used to work at together. Is a camp job up in northern Alberta, out in the middle of nowhere, but a huge big plant with like thousands of people in it. So
oh my god, exciting.
So I'm working in safety, of all places. That's where I got started at this company. Basically, desk job, kind of a clerk. And so there's these rumors of this person that's apparently going to the... So in the field, they have foreman lunchrooms, and they have a washroom in there. And someone would go into these washrooms and relieve themselves directly...
Bathrooms.
Oh, yeah, Americans. They go to the toilet and they would take a dump directly onto the seats of the toilet. Onto the seat of the toilet. And then they would have a blue Sharpie, and on the stall, they would draw a little stick figure with like those bandit mask, the black mask. And they would say, it's like, you've been hit, or another strike from the shit, what's it called?
The Shit Bandit.
The Shit Bandit. That's what it was. And the reason I thought of telling this story today.
Oh my god.
The reason I thought of telling this story today, and by the way, that's just the beginning of the story. It actually gets way crazier. But there's a new season of one of my favorite shows on Netflix, American Vandal. And on this season, the main mystery is the turd burglar. The turd burglar who does like poop-based pranks on the school. So I was like, I'm watching the show and I love the show, and I'm just like, this is exactly what happened Not exactly, but it's kind of the same thing. You have the turd burglar on TV, and we got the shit bandit at my old work. It's crazy. But anyway.
Oh my god.
So Christina, this happens once, in one of the lunchrooms out in the field. Happens twice, and then the third time it happens. And by the way, my manager, the safety manager, is pissed. He's like, who is vandalizing? Everyone's pissed.
Who's pooping everywhere?
Who's
shitting on my fucking toilets?
Who's committing these shit crimes? Okay. But okay, so I'm sitting at my desk, and then my manager busts in the room, and he's like, "Close that door." There's a door behind me. He's like, "Close that door." So we close the door.
There's no door behind you. He just wanted to make it super dramatic. Close that door behind you. The door's behind you. Okay, and then sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, no, he said, "Close that door," and then he brings out all of these. He brings out the signing sheet, and he's got printed out pictures of the little squiggle of the shit bandit, and he's like, the shit bandit just took a shit in our safety trailer washroom and tagged it.
No.
Yes, the shit bandit is in the building. Right? And I'm like, no. And he's like, and we're gonna track him down, because the only people that have been in this trailer today are the ones that are in this safety training thing. I think they were doing the certification for like fall protection.
Was it the new guys? It was the new guys, right?
Well, it had to be somebody in that class. So there's like an 8-hour fall protection class going on, right?
Okay.
And so they're like, it must have been somebody in that room, and we have all of their signatures in their orientation forms and on their sign-in sheets. So he's like, pull out all of their employee files, and we're gonna CSI this shit. We're gonna compare the signatures to the squiggle on the bathroom. Yes,
like forensic
signature identification. We got a shorter list of suspects. Oh, and it got crazier. Okay, so we're like, they're in this room. So he goes and he tells the instructor, do not let them leave the trailer during the breaks and during lunch and things like that. Yeah. Right? Tell them stay there. And then we had guys go in there, scope out the room, and kind of see who's who and who, because we got a short list of suspects. There was like three signatures.
Was that how many guys? Like 15 guys maybe?
Yeah, it's probably around 15 guys that are in the class. We narrowed it down to 3 guys.
We had so many workers too. So 15, 1,000 to like 15 is perfect.
Exactly. And not even just 15, down to 3, because there's 3 people whose signatures matched the photo.
No.
Yes.
Did you see it? Did you were you like, I'm confident it's one of these 3?
Oh, no. So my manager apparently thought he could identify people's signatures. I'm like, I don't think I could really get someone in trouble for identifying their signature, but he thought he could. And actually, I went out and I stood in front of the room, and this one guy comes out.
Oh no!
And he's just like, "Oh, what's going on here?"
What's all the commotion about?
Yeah, it's like the instructor said that we can't leave the trailer. I'm like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Oh, okay." Trying to act super cool, but very awkward, very uncomfortable. And he's like, "So, why do you think that is?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe the instructor wants to make an announcement or something like that." He's like, "Oh, okay. Cool. Well, all right. I'm just going to go back in the room." Super suspicious. And that was the prime suspect. That was our prime suspect.
Dude, wait. Was that the prime suspect before your conversation with him? Mohamed.
I can't hear you. I think you cut out.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you now.
Oh, dude, that was weird. Can you hear me?
Can you say that last phrase again?
Yeah. So, dude, was he the prime suspect before that weird conversation you had with him?
No. He ended up being one of the 3 people, and because of that, he ended up being the prime suspect. But oh my god, like, my manager was really getting into this. He's like, we need to find this person. Dude, the project manager got involved.
You get into his office, and there's like shit all over his walls, and there's string from here to here. And then there's a big circle around Shit Bandit, question mark.
It's a big like map of the plant, and like all the different washrooms and the toilets, and it's just like, this shit matches this one and this signature, and we got the suspects here. And he's like,
Oh
he's
my
like,
God.
it's a big conspiracy, they're in it together, But anyway, so
What if was it multiple people?
so no. I'm getting exaggerating here, but so
Okay. Oh my
the
God,
point
this is so
they
exciting,
couldn't-
by the way. Oh my God,
exactly
the Shit
right.
Bandit.
By the way, they couldn't really fire someone or get someone in trouble for some sort of conjecture or some sort of like fake CSI, some sort of fake CSI that we'd be doing in our.
Oh no, dude, I'm posting on my thing.
Oh yeah, no, but like
So
they couldn't get
fake CSI,
That's what I'm saying.
Canadian, Northern Canadian.
Yeah,
fake,
I bet you they probably even talk to HR. They're like, hey, if we figure out who this person is, they're like, you're not the police, like you're not like investigators, So what they decided
You're
to
just
do,
a bunch of safety guys. I got nothing else to do.
so what they decided to do was bring each one of these three suspects into the office, and the safety manager, the other safety manager, the night shift safety manager was there, the project manager, and one of the superintendents, all in there grilling these people, saying, okay, this happened. We don't know if it's you, but we've narrowed it down to a couple suspects. But if it is
Oh my
you,
God.
like this was the biggest thing at work that day.
Oh my God.
They did it to all three of them, and then that was kind of the end of it. But
Wait,
I couldn't believe it.
all in front of them, or was it individually?
Individual.
Okay.
It was, you know what? It's probably like an interrogation scene, like in those movies. Good cop, bad cop. You got the light shining on them. It's like, listen. We all just want to get back to work. Why don't you just confess, and we'll.
Yeah.
It's like we'll go easy on you. Everyone takes
my
a shit.
God.
It's okay. We understand. And then,
So what happened
and then the
after
other guy like slams his hands on the table. He's like, "I'm sick and tired of your shitty behavior."
Oh my God, I had no fucking clue.
Yeah. And then now that's the kind of the second season of American Vandal. They have the turd burglar. Oh, and yeah, the turd burglar has a calling sign, but this guy also had a little basically a calling sign where he would scribble it on the stalls, right? Oh my God. Anyway, so that's the takeaway from that is don't vandalize toilets. Just be cool.
Oh my God, dude!
Yeah.
Especially where we worked, it was like it
You
was a
lived there.
plant in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, and that was your whole life. Basically, they say don't shit where you sleep, right?
I mean, he was doing that for fun. That's what happens when you have a dry camp. I think when guys, especially older men, when they can't drink, you need to
They
find
act out?
entertainment in other ways.
Oh,
and this
oh.
is one of them.
Christina, I forgot to mention, the prime suspect, that was the third day that he was on site. He was a new guy. He just arrived.
I knew
that
it.
means every dump that he took at work was a Shit Bandit dump. Like, this guy couldn't
my
wait.
God.
Like, he got off the bus and he's like, show me the nearest toilet, I gotta unload a package,
Oh no!
Can I borrow that Sharpie?
Oh no! Okay, so I'm assuming after that after those conversations with those three guys, it stopped.
Oh yeah, it stopped. And that's
No
the end of
way.
the story, unfortunately. Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh my
We
gosh.
scared the shit out of him.
Well done, safety. You guys aren't just a bunch of nerds.
No.
Constantly, being tedious nerds.
Yep.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
your
we
contributions
do
and your
what we gotta
efforts.
do, But yeah, that was my little GHA.
That's oh my God. So the takeaway from JHA for both of our JHAs is listen to Christina when she says not to use certain machines. If not,
Yep.
you get wood impaled into your skin.
Yep.
And then what's your JHA there, Mohamed?
Just curb your shitty behavior, people. Don't poop. don't vandalize toilets. It's just not. It's not a good time.
I
People-
feel so
people
bad
get really
for the
passionate.
cleaning people. Like the cleaning people,
well-
like I imagine open the stall and you're like, what the fuck?
I saw pictures, Christina. I saw pictures of the crime scene. Oh, by the way,
Did he have healthy stools, or maybe did he have like irritable bowel syndrome or stuff like that?
it looked malevolent to me. It looked like
Okay.
a bad person's dump, you know?
Oh.
Well, by the way,
boy.
they had a problem early on before I even started working there, because
Yeah.
I used to do the daily reports, and someone told me, it's like, oh, I remember back at the beginning of this project, we used to have to put on the daily reports and send out to the morning meetings to everybody,
Yeah.
not to pee in the e-houses. So there's these
Yeah, I
shacks,
remember
these
that.
electrical e-houses. Yeah,
No, dude, I remember
e-houses,
that.
these
I remember
electrical
that.
shacks. And I think this was near the beginning of the project where I think either they didn't have enough toilets or like it was cold, so people didn't want to. I don't know what logic people used, but people will go in the
It
corner of
was
these
incredibly
e-houses.
cold.
Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah,
it was
I
so
remember
cold.
that.
But if it's that cold, they think, oh, it's the crime's just gonna be frozen over. The evidence will be frozen over, so no one will be. By the time they figure it out, they'll be long gone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but
Dude,
that-
guys are just. I'm sorry, guys are just a different species, man.
Oh,
Would you
oh,
ever expect a woman? Come on. A fucking woman and a middle-aged and I'm sure of it. Those three prime suspects were what? Between the ages of 25 and 40. Men.
Yes.
Caucasian.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that's what I thought. Would you ever
Yes.
expect a 25 to 40 Caucasian female? I mean, by the way, it doesn't have to be race, but 25 to 40, a freaking woman would go around pooping on toilet seats.
No, I would not.
That
I
is
would not.
deranged.
There was apparently a safety officer in my department before I joined, who had a reputation of being really dirty, really stinky.
Like, what do you mean?
And would brag
okay.
about not that kind of dirty, but just actually physically dirty.
Oh,
and would
no. Sorry.
brag-
Yeah. That's what I meant.
And would brag about how many days she hasn't showered.
What?
Yes, yes. By the way, in safety, we had some weird people in there.
You guys had the weirdest. I don't know, man. I think you throw in any sort of weird behavior, and then you throw it in that very much weird working living situation.
Yeah.
Shit just amplifies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it
yeah,
does.
dude. I mean,
Oh my goodness. Oh, Go ahead.
It wows me every time that every once in a while I'll have to, like, when I join it, like a joint. This is what I had to do for my last company, not the cabinet company, but the last company I had to work for, and I just kind of explained to them like my background and my work history and
Yep.
work in Canada and then specifically when I talked about Canada, I talked about the camps and they're like, their eyes are humongous. They're like, what? You worked 2 weeks straight? You worked 14 hours straight? You got bussed into work? You didn't have your own car?
No.
You
have to eat those shitty sandwiches every day?
You ate, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the same little shitty buffet place. You had the small gym. You had a little small theater. You had a shitty, like, 10 by 4 room to yourself. You had to share a
Jack
bathroom.
and Jill rooms. You had to share a bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, and one day, by the way, Christina,
Yeah.
one day we have to tell our story when we went to that other camp.
What's that? Oh, man. We got to hold it for another. I think
No,
we
no,
really
not
need to
today.
dwell.
Yeah.
I think we need to
It's
dwell
gonna be a
on
whole
kind of-
episode dedicated to that.
Yeah, and can I just say though, it's funny because I think I was only out there for about a year and a half, but you were
Yeah.
out there for.
4 years.
How did you survive that long without me?
You know what? It was. I couldn't call it living. It was. I was just taking it day by day until I saw your face, and then all of a sudden now life was worth living. Yeah, it's like that song where doves appear.
Beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, dude, I can't believe you. I remember you telling me that. I'm like, how did you last that long? When I eventually left, when we all transitioned back, I was so
Yep.
ready to leave. I was so fucking ready to leave.
I enjoyed my time there. I had a really good time there. I think it really depends on the type of person. Not necessarily that you have to be tougher or anything like that. It's just what you find acceptable, right? Remember we had those interns that quit? Interns quit
Yeah.
because they couldn't handle camp life.
Yeah.
Totally
Dude,
effing
can I
up their
be
school
honest?
career. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of, I know you said that, I know you just touched on it right now, like you didn't have to be like stone cold, like, but
No.
there's a lever a level of toughness that you need to be in that situation. It's a very odd, like, imagine working 2 weeks straight and then 1 week off, 2 weeks. This constant kind of grind. Like, you had to be mentally tough to go through that, you know?
And I think it also depended who you worked with, because your work life was everything. It was your work. It was your life. It was your life. You spent more time with these people than you did with your family by far, or your friends by many magnitudes. 100%. Right?
Yeah.
And by the way, all those interns that quit, they're all in the same department, because that department was hell. Insulation. And who else was in insulation? That's right.
Stop.
Our own Christina was in insulation.
Yeah, I was in there. Hey, towards the end, okay, because they needed shit to be cleaned up, okay?
But
I took it, dude. I didn't give a shit. I took it.
I don't know how you could handle it.
Oh, that was fine. That was easy, because I was night shift, man. I did my own thing.
Night shift, yeah.
I was night shift. I was doing my own thing.
In your department, you had one person who had a full-out breakdown, right? A mental breakdown.
That was so sad. That was legitimately really, very sad.
He's okay now. I know him. I still see him I still have contact with him after work.
Yeah.
But then we had another person that replaced him, and he almost had a bit of a breakdown. He had to actually tell them, "Take me off the site. I'm about to have a breakdown." Yeah. We had 3 interns leave.
Yeah.
3 interns.
Yeah.
All in the same department.
Dude, I remember one intern. I don't know. Was it an intern? Yeah, I think it may have been. It was the second day they were there.
Yeah.
And he got... Oh, okay, I need to mention this because, okay, I'm when it comes to certain, like, bugs, I'm very allergic.
Oh, yes.
And there was a certain type of mosquito up north that would always bite me every once in a while. And my hands would look like... Yeah, okay. I would get bit, and wherever I got bit, like I would puff up, and I would look like the Michelin Man.
Oh,
I'm not joking.
Goodness.
Like I remember getting like here near my eye, and it would get humongous. And I remember the same kid, 2 days in, got the same bug bite, but he said he couldn't breathe, and they literally they. Dude, do you remember? He left. He left camp. He was done.
Really?
He had to go back. Yeah, he had to go back to the office in the city. Yeah, he was done. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, dude, it was like cowboys and Indians out there, man.
Cowboys and Indians.
Or what you guys like? Cowboys and First Nations out there. You know, just wild out there. You know.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think is there anything else we should do to wrap this up?
Yeah, it's funny. This is an interesting segment that we kind of got into. I know last time our first episode, but like
we had a lot of segments that first episode, but today we had a lot of meat to. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. I like when we talk about that's the whole main. I'm hoping sort of like the main segment of the podcast is talk about kind of like our work, experience, and kind of just go off of that. But this was fun.
And actually, I guess this is a good chance to mention that for JHA, I would love for if anybody's actually listening to this, to send us in their work situations, like questions, awkward stuff at work. Let us know, what, we'll give you our take on it. We're not going to give advice because you shouldn't follow our advice. But
no, I think we should. We could do whatever. We just go with it. I do have a good friend that did suggest a couple things, but she was very generic. So I'll ask her to kind of get a little bit more specific about some of her experiences, and then we could talk about it. And then, obviously we won't give out names. So,
no.
Feel free, guys.
But if anyone out there does want to submit some stuff, tweet at us at Staff Turnover. Also on Instagram at Staff Turnover. We're there. I'll be handling the Twitter. Christina will be handling the Instagram.
Woo. Represent. All right, guys. Well, I think that's the end there. So I think we're signing off. Yep, we're signing off. I'm America.
And I'm sorry.
All right, sorry. There, guys. Did it lag?